Good afternoon. I'm Captain Caitlin Berner. I am a Fundamentals of Acquisition Management instructor, which is the initial skills training for the 61, 62, and 63 career fields. So chemists, engineers, and acquisition managers. I've been doing this since 2022, and it's something I really enjoy, and I hope to continue doing for the foreseeable future. So for my interview with the commander, I reached out to a civil engineering commander to ask about a time that they faced an ethical decision and what that looked like for them. The biggest one that someone faced, the commander that I spoke with, was deciding whether or not they should approve a Palace Chase application for one of their service members. Seems like a simple decision. You see it come out, they're already a top performer, but that's also kind of the issue is like, how do I let this person go when they're the backbone of the organization or the shop that they're in? So the first thing the commander did was they talked to the shop lead, they talked to the senior enlisted advisor and the direct supervisor. And then they took the member to the side because there is a huge human factor when we're making these types of decisions. And we have to remember at the end of the day, yeah, they're chess pieces, but they're people. And so the commander spoke with them, and the reason they wanted to Palace Chase was that they wanted to continue to serve, but they wanted to do so from their home station. They had met a spouse there, they were going to start a family, they had in-laws, were close to that member's home, and so they wanted to continue in the career field that they were in, but in a different capacity, which is why we have these avenues available, because not everybody is willing to serve and move every couple of years. So it makes sense, right? The commander should approve this application. It seems like a no-brainer. However, the group commander came in and was like, I really think you need to look at your manning. I don't know if that came from, and I don't know if the squadron commander, he didn't know if it came from the group commander seeing that this individual was such a high performer within their group, or if it came from just making sure that things were going on. It was a high visibility group or shop they were in. And so just trying to figure out the demographic. But ultimately, the decision does lie with the squadron commander. And so the squadron commander reached out to AFPC to get a little bit of information about how long it'd take to backfill that position. And then he also was asking around some of the questions to the shop where how will this impact you? What about the training status of the people that will be left behind? What is the impact really gonna feel like? The big dilemma, not only with making that decision, was that the squadron commander then had to kind of push back against the group commander and say, hey, while I do take your input into it, it is ultimately my decision, and I'm going to choose something that's different than what you're recommending. And that's hard. It is so hard to tell someone that, hey, I don't agree with what you're saying, and I'm going to make a decision that I think is best for my unit. So if we're looking at it from the loud perspective or the loud lens, the commander faced a dilemma of deciding whether or not they should approve that. Those were their two options. Approve or disapprove. In terms of weight, they looked at the impact to the unit, but also what is most important, I think, they looked at impact to the member. If they were forced to stay and you declined it and they had to PCS, what impact does that have on their life? What impact are they going to carry forward? Are they going to continue to be a top performer? And then lastly, decide. And ultimately, this commander did decide to approve that application. And the member was very grateful for it. So in terms of what type of leadership style, I would say that the commander was using consequentialism, but also using empathy. They were focused on the impact of their decision. They understood how not only it impacts the mission, but also the person. And I think taking those into considerations, those weight factors, and then remembering that ultimately taking care of our airmen is our ultimate mission, because the better we take care of them, the better they're going to take care of everyone else. So it's a good reminder for me to take the humanity piece when making these decisions and be willing to trust that the people left behind can continue to make progress and support. If we're depending on one NCO to manage a shop and it will crumble if they leave, then we're already doing a disservice, because our shop should be able to be run by everyone left behind. Everyone should be fully trained. So it was good to hear their perspective and take into account all the things that they had to think about, and it allows me in the future, if I have to make a decision, to know who to talk to and know how to weigh those options with everybody. Thanks.